It was just a mistake. Don't blow up the family over this, my mom said after I caught my fiancé with my brother in my own apartment. 4 months later, I was invited to their wedding as a guest, but they had no idea what I was bringing with me. What would you do if the person you trusted most in the world destroyed your life, and everyone you loved chose his side? My name is Rowan Mercer, and I want to tell you about the week that split my life into before and after. Let me start from the beginning. I work at a mid-sized tech firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nothing glamorous. I'm not at Google. I'm not making millions. But I'm good at what I do. Good enough that clients request me by name. Good enough that my boss once told me in a quarterly review, "Rowan, half the accounts we have are because of you." I just nod when he says stuff like that. I'm not the type to celebrate out loud. Beckett is 3 years younger than me, 25 when all of this happens, and he's everything I'm not. Loud, magnetic, the kind of guy who tells a joke and the whole room leans in. Growing up, dinner at the Mercer house is basically the Beckett show. He talks, my parents laugh, and I sit there pushing peas around my plate thinking about whatever project I'm working on. My father, Grant Mercer, is a retired contractor. Strong hands, strong opinions. And from the time we're kids, it's clear who his favorite is. He never says it directly. He's not that kind of man. But it's in the small things. The way he lights up when Beckett walks through the door. The way he claps him on the back and says, "That's my boy." With me, it's a nod. A good job, Rowan. And then the conversation moves on. My mother, Elena, loves us both. I know that. But she never corrects the imbalance. She sees it. I know she sees it. But she lets it slide. Every single time. And when you're a kid desperate for your father's approval, your mother's silence feels like she agrees with him. I stopped caring about it somewhere around 25. I have my career, my apartment, my life. I've built something on my own without anyone handing me anything. And I'm fine. I really am. Then I meet Tessa Callahan. It's a Sunday in late July. A friend's barbecue. Humid, sticky, the kind of Charlotte summer that makes your shirt cling to your back. I almost don't go. I have a bug in my code that's been driving me insane all weekend. But something makes me grab my keys and walk out the door. Tessa is standing by the drinks table laughing at something someone said. She has these green eyes that catch you completely off guard. We start talking and 3 hours vanish. Just like that. She's an interior designer. She's witty. She's direct. She doesn't play games. When I say something she disagrees with, she tells me. When I say something she likes, her whole face changes. We start dating in September. By February, I know she's the one. By the following summer, I'm at a jewelry store picking out a ring. A simple band, a single stone. Nothing flashy, just right. I propose on a Friday evening at this little Italian place we love. Nothing public, nothing dramatic. Just us, a corner table, and the question. She says yes before I even finish the sentence. I call my parents that night. My mom cries. My dad says, "Well done, son." Beckett texts me a string of exclamation marks and then leaves that voicemail, the one I still have. Everything feels perfect. Here's what I don't know yet. Here's the thing that will shatter everything in a few months. Before that barbecue, before Tessa ever meets me, she had already met Beckett at a bar downtown about 2 months earlier. Milo Dawson, my best friend since middle school, tells me this much later. Apparently Tessa approached Beckett that night, bought him a drink, flirted hard, and Beckett turned her down. Not because he was being loyal to anyone. Beckett didn't even know I existed in Tessa's world yet. He turned her down because he was seeing someone else at the time. Tessa got rejected by my brother. And then, 2 months later, she meets me. I don't know this. I don't know any of this. But I do notice things. Small things that I shove to the back of my mind because I trust my brother and I love this woman. And sometimes your gut tells you something your heart doesn't want to hear. Like the way Tessa's eyes linger on Beckett a beat too long when he's talking at family dinners. Or how she always laughs just a little harder at his jokes than anyone else's. Or the time I walk into the kitchen at my parents' house and they're standing close, not touching, but close. And when they see me, they both step back just a little too quickly. I tell myself I'm imagining things. I tell myself I'm being paranoid. Beckett is my brother. Tessa is going to be my wife. These are the two people in the world I'm supposed to trust without question. So I ignore my gut. I swallow the doubt. And I keep planning the wedding. That is the first mistake I make. And it costs me everything. It's a Thursday evening, about 4 months after the engagement. I come home early from work. There's a server issue that gets resolved faster than expected, so I'm walking through my apartment door at 4 p.m. instead of the usual 7. Tessa's phone is on the kitchen counter. She's in the shower. I can hear the water running. The phone buzzes, then buzzes again, then again. I'm not the type to check someone's phone. I've never done it, not once in my life. But 3 buzzes in a row from the same person. It catches my eye. I glance at the screen. Beckett. 3 messages. I can see the previews without unlocking the phone. Can't stop thinking about last Tuesday. We need to talk about this before it goes too far. I know he's my brother, sure, but I can't help what I feel. The room tilts. My ears start ringing. I read the messages again, and again, and one more time because some part of my brain is convinced I'm misunderstanding something, that these words don't mean what they clearly, obviously mean. The shower turns off. I hear Tessa humming. I put the phone back exactly where it was. I walk to the bedroom. I sit on the edge of the bed, and I wait. Not because I have a plan, not because I know what to say, but because my body has stopped responding to commands and sitting is the only thing I can manage. Tessa walks out in a towel, hair dripping. She sees me and smiles. "You're home early. Want to order Thai?" I look at her face. This face I've memorized. This face I was going to wake up next to for the rest of my life. And I search it for guilt, for shame, and for anything that tells me she knows she's destroying me. There's nothing. Just that easy, beautiful smile. "Sure," I say. "Thai sounds good." I don't bring it up. Not that night. I need time to think. I need time to figure out if what I saw is what I think it is, or if there's some explanation that doesn't end with my world caving in. So I do what I do best. I observe. Quietly, carefully. Over the next 2 weeks, I watch. I pay attention to the times Tessa steps out to take a call from a client. I notice when Beckett suddenly can't make Sunday dinner at our parents' house. The same Sundays, Tessa says she has a work event. I see the way she tilts her phone screen away from me when she's texting. Little things. But little things add up. They always do. 2 weeks later, I know. There's no dramatic confrontation, no screaming, no throwing things, no tears. I come home on a Tuesday and Tessa is sitting on the couch watching TV. I sit down across from her and I just say it. "I know about you and Beckett." I can still see the exact moment the color drains from her face. It's not guilt. It's not shame. It's fear. Fear of being caught. There's a difference and I see it clearly. "Rowan, how long?" She doesn't answer. "How long, Tessa?" 3 months. 3 months. She's been sleeping with my brother for 3 months, through Sunday dinners with my parents, through wedding venue visits, through nights where she lies next to me and tells me she loves me. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "It just happened." Things like this don't just happen. People make choices. Every text, every secret meeting, every lie, those are choices. But I don't say that. I don't have the energy to educate someone on basic human decency. "I'm going to stay at Milo's tonight," I say. "I'll come get my things this weekend." "Rowan, please, can we talk about this?" "We just did." I grab my jacket, my laptop bag, and my keys. I walk out. I don't slam the door. I close it softly. And that soft click is the loudest sound I've ever made. I call Beckett the next morning. He picks up on the second ring. "Hey, Rowan, I know." Silence. "I know about you and Tessa. She told me." More silence. Then, "Rowan, listen, I didn't plan for this too. I'm not calling to fight, Beckett. I'm calling to tell you that I know. That's it." "Bro, come on, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain. You're my brother and you did this. That's the whole story." I hang up. My hands are shaking so badly I drop the phone twice before I can put it on the table. Milo is sitting across from me in his kitchen. He's seen me walk in the night before looking like a ghost. He didn't ask questions then. He doesn't ask questions now. He just slides a cup of coffee across the counter and says, "Whatever you need, man, I'm here." That's the thing about Milo Dawson. He's been my best friend since 7th grade. He doesn't need to fill silence with words. He just shows up. And in that moment, him being there, not saying anything, just being present, it's the only thing keeping me from falling apart. I wait for my family to call, my parents specifically. I figure Beckett will tell them, or Tessa will. Someone will. And then my phone will ring, and my mother will be crying, and my father will be furious, and we'll all figure this out together, because that's what families do, right? My phone doesn't ring. 3 days pass, nothing. On the fourth day, my mother calls, but not with the conversation I'm expecting. Not even close. Rowan, sweetheart, I talked to Beckett. Okay. He's really torn up about this. He feels terrible. He feels terrible. Honey, I know you're hurt, but these things, sometimes feelings develop and people can't control them. Beckett didn't mean for this to happen. I almost laugh. Almost. Mom, he slept with my fiancée for 3 months while I was planning my wedding. I know, sweetheart, and that's awful, but he's your brother. He's family. We need to find a way through this. Find a way through this. Your father and I think maybe you boys should sit down together. Talk it out. Tessa too. Maybe. And right there in that single sentence, I understand everything. They're not calling to support me. They're calling to manage me, to smooth things over, to make sure the family unit stays intact, even if I'm the one who has to absorb the damage. I'll think about it, Mom. That's all I ask, sweetheart. I hang up and stare at the wall for a very long time. The next week I get an email, a wedding invitation. Beckett and Tessa. Not next year. Not eventually. Now. They're getting married in 4 months, and I'm invited. Not as the best man, not as family, as a guest, a regular, ordinary guest. My name is printed on the invitation like I'm a colleague from work or a distant cousin they felt obligated to include. 4 months ago, I was the one marrying Tessa. Now I'm guest number 47 at my brother's wedding to my ex-fiancée. I stare at that invitation for hours. I read my name on it over and over. Rowan Mercer and guest. Like I'm nobody. Like the last 2 years of my life with this woman were a rough draft, and Beckett is the final version. I don't RSVP. I don't call. I don't do anything. Instead, I start planning, not revenge. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not some mastermind plotting anyone's downfall. I'm planning something much simpler. I'm planning my exit. Within 3 weeks, I apply for a transfer at work. My company has an office in Denver. Different city, different state, different time zone. I request the move, and because I'm the guy that clients specifically ask for, my boss approves it in 2 days. We hate to lose you here, he says, but Denver's lucky to get you. I pack up my apartment, not dramatically, not in one night with tears streaming down my face, methodically, box by box. I cancel my lease. I sell the furniture I don't need. I forward my mail. I tell Milo, and only Milo. You're just leaving? He asks, sitting on my empty couch the night before the movers come. Yeah. Without telling your family? They made their choice, Milo. They chose Beckett. They chose to smooth this over instead of standing with me. So yeah, I'm leaving. What do I tell people when they ask? Whatever you want, I don't care. He's quiet for a long time. Then he nods. Okay, but I'm not losing you too, Rowan. You answer my calls. That's the deal. Deal. We shake on it, and the next morning I drive to Denver. I don't tell my parents. I don't tell Beckett. I don't post on social media. I just stop existing in Charlotte. One day I'm there, and the next day I'm not. Like I was never there at all. And here's what happens next. My family notices I'm gone about 2 weeks later. 2 weeks. My mother calls my old number. I've changed it by then. She calls Milo. Milo tells her I've moved but doesn't say where. She panics. My father is concerned. Beckett apparently says, he just needs time. He'll come around. He'll come around. Like I'm a dog that ran away and will eventually find its way back home when it gets hungry enough. Nobody comes looking. Nobody tries hard enough to actually find me. And that tells me everything I need to know about where I stand with these people. Denver is good to me. Not in some fairy tale, everything falls into place kind of way, but in a slow, honest way. I get a small apartment near downtown. I throw myself into work. And the Denver office is smaller, which means I'm more visible, and within 6 months I'm leading a team. Clients from Charlotte follow me. 3 of them request transfers to my project specifically. My new boss notices. Promotions start happening. I don't date. I don't go out much. I run in the mornings. I code during the day. I cook dinner alone at night. And slowly, week by week, the weight in my chest gets a little lighter. Not gone, just lighter. Milo calls every Sunday. We don't always talk about heavy stuff. Sometimes it's just sports, or a movie he watched, or some ridiculous thing that happened at his job. But every few weeks, he drops a piece of information about back home. Never gossip. Milo's not like that. Just facts, updates, things he thinks I should know. That's how I learned that Beckett and Tessa got married. Small ceremony. My parents were there. My mother apparently cried through the whole thing. Whether those were happy tears or guilty tears, I'll never know. That's also how I learned that Beckett has started his own business, some kind of consulting firm. And here's what twists the knife. Half his initial clients are people I used to work with, people who knew me, connections I'd built over years in Charlotte. Beckett doesn't have my skills, doesn't have my experience, but he has my name, Mercer. And these people assume that Beckett, being my brother, must be cut from the same cloth. He's not, but it takes them a while to figure that out. A year passes, then two. I build my life in Denver, real friendships, a team at work that respects me, a routine that feels like mine and not something I'm borrowing from someone else's idea of happiness. I'm not healed. I don't know if that word even applies, but I'm functional. I'm present. I'm okay. And then Milo calls on a Wednesday instead of a Sunday. That's how I know something's wrong. Your mom's in the hospital, he says. No preamble. Milo doesn't sugarcoat. Elena had a fall, broke her hip. She's in surgery now. It's serious, Rowan. My stomach drops. Whatever anger I have toward my family, whatever walls I've built, my mother is in a hospital. That cuts through everything. How do you know, I ask. Your dad called me. He's trying to reach you. He asked if I had your number. You didn't give it to him. No, but Rowan, it's your mom. I sit in my apartment in Denver, 1,000 miles from Charlotte, and I feel like that kid at the dinner table again. Invisible. Except now, the invisibility is my own creation. Is it bad? It's not great. Hip surgery at her age. There could be complications. She's asking for you, Rowan. Apparently she's been asking for you. That nearly breaks me. Nearly. But I hold it together because falling apart doesn't help anyone. Okay, here's what I need you to do. I wire money to Milo that night, enough to cover whatever the insurance doesn't, and I tell him to handle it. Pay the hospital directly. Don't tell anyone where the money came from. She's going to know, Milo says. Maybe, but she can't prove it, and I need it to stay that way. Rowan, Milo, please. He sighs, but he does it, because that's who Milo is. 3 days later, the hospital bill is paid. My mother's recovering. My father is confused. He didn't have the savings for this, and the insurance wasn't going to cover everything. When he asked the hospital who paid, they tell him it was handled anonymously through a third party. Milo tells me later that my father sat in the hospital parking lot for an hour trying to figure it out. Beckett apparently suggests it might be an old family friend, or maybe a church fund. My mother doesn't say anything. She just looks at my father and then looks away. I think she knows. I hope she knows. It's around this time, about 2.5 years after I left, that things start falling apart for Beckett. Not in some spectacular, dramatic way. No scandal, no explosion. Just gravity. Just the natural weight of a life built on a cracked foundation. The clients he inherited from my network start leaving, one by one. Not because I did anything. I'm 1,000 miles away, minding my own business. But because Beckett isn't me. And he doesn't have the follow-through. He doesn't have the patience for the tedious, unglamorous parts of the work. He was great at landing the clients, all charm, big smile, firm handshake. But keeping them, that requires showing up consistently. That requires being reliable. And Beckett has never been reliable a day in his life. His business starts bleeding money. He takes out loans, makes promises he can't keep. And the people who once took his calls because of the Mercer name stop picking up. Meanwhile, his marriage to Tessa is unraveling in slow motion. Milo hears this through mutual friends. Apparently, they fight constantly. Trust issues. Tessa checks Beckett's phone. Beckett accuses Tessa of being controlling, which is almost funny if you think about it. Two people who started their relationship by betraying someone's trust are now incapable of trusting each other. Who could have possibly predicted that? I don't feel satisfaction hearing this. I want to be honest about that. I thought I would. I thought the day Beckett's world started crumbling, I'd feel some dark sense of justice. But I don't. I just feel tired and sad, because the Beckett in that voicemail, The one who was so happy for me. That was my brother once. And losing that version of him is a grief that doesn't have a name. 3 years after I leave Charlotte, I get a message I never expected. It's from Tessa. She doesn't contact me directly. She doesn't have my number. She sends a message through LinkedIn, of all places. Professional, impersonal, like she's reaching out about a job opportunity. I stare at the notification for 10 minutes before I open it. Rowan, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. I'm not reaching out for myself. It's Beckett. He's in a really bad place. The business is failing, he's drinking too much, and he won't talk to anyone. Your parents are worried. I'm worried. I know you owe us nothing, but he's your brother. Maybe hearing from you would help. I read it 3 times. The audacity of this woman, the sheer breathtaking audacity. She helped destroy my life. She married my brother before the ink on our canceled wedding was dry. And now, 3 years later, she's asking me to save him. Not because she cares about me, not because she's sorry, but because her life is falling apart and she needs someone else to fix it. I close LinkedIn. I don't respond. I don't think about responding. My silence is my answer, and it's the only one she deserves. 4 years pass. 4 full years since I drove out of Charlotte, and I get a phone call from Milo that changes everything. Not in the way you'd expect. Your mom wants to talk to you, Rowan. Milo, hear me out. She's recovered. She's doing fine physically, but she's different. Something's eating at her. She told me something, and I think you need to hear it. What? She said your dad knew about Beckett and Tessa. Before you found out, he knew, and he didn't tell you. The world goes very quiet. What do you mean he knew? Elena told me that Grant saw something. Texts, or a look between them, something, weeks before you found those messages on Tessa's phone. And he made a choice. He chose not to tell you. He chose to protect Beckett. I don't speak for a long time. Milo waits. My father knew. My father saw what was happening to me, what was about to happen to me, and he chose his younger son. Again. He chose to let me walk into that betrayal blind because telling me the truth would have meant confronting Beckett, and Grant Mercer has never once in his life confronted his golden boy. The hurt from Beckett and Tessa, that was sharp, immediate, like a knife. But this is different. This is a slow, deep ache that settles into my bones. Because a brother can betray you, and you can tell yourself it's rivalry, jealousy, weakness. But a father? A father is supposed to protect you. That's the whole job. Your mom said she's carried this guilt for years, Milo continues. She wanted to tell you at the time, but Grant convinced her to stay quiet, said it would sort itself out. And when it didn't, when you left, she said it was the biggest regret of her life. She let it happen too, Milo. I know, she knows that. That's why she wants to talk. Not to make excuses, just to say it to your face. I think about it for a week, a full week of turning it over in my head, every angle, every possible outcome. And then I do something I never thought I'd do. I call my mother. It's a short conversation. She cries. I don't. She says she's sorry, not the performative kind, not the let's move past this kind, the real kind, the kind that comes with no expectation of forgiveness. I should have told you, she says. I should have protected you. I chose peace over my own son, and I will never forgive myself for that. I know, Mom. Your father, he's too proud to say it, but he knows too. He knows what he did. That's between him and his conscience. We talk for 12 minutes. I know because I watch the timer on my phone. 12 minutes after 4 years of silence. She asks if I'm doing okay. I tell her I am. She asks if I'm happy. I tell her I'm getting there. She doesn't ask me to come home. She doesn't ask me to forgive Beckett. She just says, I love you, Rowan. I always have. Even when I was too weak to show it. I know, Mom. I love you too. I hang up, and I sit in my apartment in Denver alone, and I let myself cry for the first time in 4 years. Not for Tessa, not for Beckett, not for my father, for my mother, for the version of our relationship that could have been if someone had just been brave enough to tell the truth. I don't go back to Charlotte. I don't reconnect with Beckett. I don't reach out to my father. Sometimes people ask me, friends in Denver, people who learn bits and pieces of the story, Don't you want closure? And I never know how to answer that. Because what does closure even look like here? Beckett apologizing? My father admitting he chose wrong? Tessa explaining why she did what she did? None of those things would undo the damage. None of those words would give me back the years I spent rebuilding from scratch. Closure isn't a door you walk through. It's a room you build for yourself, brick by brick, day by day. And I've been building mine in Denver. Life isn't a movie. There's no big family reunion, no tearful group hug, no we got through it moment. Some things once broken, stay broken. And that's okay. That has to be okay. My life in Denver is quiet. I get promoted again. I mentor younger engineers. I start running half marathons. I cook elaborate meals for one, and I've gotten surprisingly good at it. I have friends who know me, the real me, not the Mercer family version of me. I have Sunday calls with Milo that I look forward to all week, and I have a Monday evening call with my mother that we've kept up for 6 months now. Short calls, 15 minutes, sometimes 20. We talk about her garden, my work, the weather, nothing heavy, nothing that reopens wounds. Just two people slowly, carefully, finding their way back to each other. Beckett and I haven't spoken since that phone call 4 years ago, the one where I said, "You're my brother and you did this." I hear through Milo that his business eventually folded. The clients dried up, the loans caught up, and the charm that used to open every door for him stopped working when there was nothing behind it. Milo told me something once that I think about more than I should. He said that toward the end, before the business closed, Beckett called some of my old clients, the ones who had left, and one of them, a guy named Patterson who I'd worked with for 3 years, told Beckett straight to his face, "We didn't hire Mercer Consulting, we hired Rowan. You're not Rowan." Beckett apparently didn't say anything, just hung up. I'm not going to pretend that didn't affect me, but it wasn't satisfaction. It was something more like grief, because Patterson was right. Beckett wasn't me, but he didn't have to be. He could have been his own version of successful if he'd done the work instead of taking shortcuts. That was always Beckett's problem. Not that he lacked talent, but that he thought talent was enough. Tessa and Beckett separated, not divorced yet, but living apart. Milo says the trust was never there. How could it be? They built their relationship on the ruins of someone else's. Every insecurity, every argument, every late night where one of them checked the other's phone, that's the tax you pay for starting something the way they did. Nobody told them that. They had to learn it the expensive way. I hear Beckett's working at a car dealership now. There's nothing wrong with that. Honest work is honest work. But I remember the kid who used to sit at the dinner table making everyone laugh, so full of potential, so sure the world was going to hand him everything, and now he's selling sedans on a lot off the highway. Not because life was unfair to him, but because he made choices, and choices have weight, and eventually that weight comes due. I don't feel victory. I want you to know that. I feel the absence of something that should have been there. A brother, a family, a life that went left when it should have gone straight. Some nights I sit on my balcony in Denver, watching the sun set behind the mountains, and I play that voicemail. Beckett's voice, young and happy and full of love for me. "Rowan, man, I'm so happy for you. You deserve this." And I think maybe he meant it. Maybe in that one moment, before everything went wrong, my brother actually meant it. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't erase the good times. It just makes them hurt more. I put my phone away, I go inside, I make dinner, I sit at my table for one, and I'm okay. Not great, not healed, not whole. But okay. Last Sunday, Milo asked me something on our call. He said, "Do you ever regret leaving? Like, do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd stayed and fought?" I thought about it for a long time. Longer than he expected, probably. "No," I said. "Fighting would have meant I still believed there was something worth fighting for. And there wasn't. Not with Beckett, not with my dad. The only thing worth fighting for was myself. And the only way to do that was to leave." Milo was quiet. Then he said, "For what it's worth, I think 12-year-old you would be pretty proud of 28-year-old you." I laughed, actually laughed. 12-year-old me would be horrified that I moved to Denver voluntarily. Fair point, the Broncos are terrible. And just like that, the heaviness lifted. Because that's what real friendship does. It doesn't fix you. It just reminds you that you're still a person, not just a collection of things that happened to you. Tonight, like most nights, I sit on my balcony and watch the sun go down behind the Rockies. The sky turns orange, then purple, then dark. The air is cool. The apartment is quiet. I take out my phone and play the voicemail one last time. Beckett's voice fills the silence. Young, happy, proud of his big brother. Rowan, man, I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. I listen to the whole thing, every word, and when it's done, I do something I've never done before. I delete it, not out of anger, not out of healing, just because it's time. That voicemail belongs to a version of us that doesn't exist anymore. Two brothers who loved each other, a future that never happened. Keeping it won't bring any of that back. And letting it go won't make me forget. I put my phone in my pocket, I go inside. I make dinner. I sit at my table for one. And for the first time in 4 years, okay feels like enough.